I want to share something that truly baffles me. It's quite unbelievable that someone as unremarkable as myself is getting married before you. You would definitely fit better in that tattered dress, and I'm sure even the groom and the guests would agree if they were honest. I overheard my sister's harsh words as she stood beside the damaged wedding gown, and my heart sank into despair. Yet, as her older sister, I couldn't let her continue with such reckless behavior. I resolved to demonstrate my happiness and ensure she realized the error of her ways. My name is Mara, and at 28, after being with Kelvin for 4 years, I've just filed our marriage paperwork. Our wedding is around the corner. Organizing the invites, choosing the menu, and picking out the floral arrangements have been tough, but these tasks remind me of the love and support from our friends and family over the years, which fuels my drive. I've been especially particular about my wedding dress. Ever since I was young, I dreamed of a pristine white gown, a dream that became a reality once in a lifetime. Though it was expensive, I sometimes wonder if it's okay to indulge for my special day. That dress looks stunning on you, Mara, Kelvin reassured me. It's your dream, right? You've been saving for this for a long time. Encouraged by his words, I plan to wear my chosen dress with pride. The gown I selected is beautifully crafted with layers of tulle and lace, designed by a well-known artist. Just picturing myself in that dress at the perfect venue, alongside my beloved, fills me with anticipation for our wedding day, a truly blissful moment. However, life has its ups and downs. Mara, do you really think Kelvin will go through with marrying you? He might be having second thoughts, my sister Scarlett teased during a recent visit home. Scarlett, 3 years my junior, lounged on the couch with a smirk. Even if you're joking, that's a cruel thing to say, I shot back. Scarlett has always been outspoken, often taking care of her appearance and constantly checking her reflection. Since childhood, she has made it a point to put me down in public, contrasting her looks with mine and positioning herself as superior. Despite her cutting remarks, I've never felt less than her. Our sibling relationship has always been strained, and her recent comments are no exception. Hey, Mara, remember when Kelvin came over last time? Did he say anything about me? She prodded. What are you implying? I responded, frustrated. Oh, something like, your sister is so cute, or she's more elegant and beautiful than you, she persisted. Fed up, I decided to leave, but as I walked out, Scarlett muttered under her breath, still bitter about my upcoming marriage. Despite her plain appearance, she didn't seem to care much. You know, you really should just go home, she said dismissively. This kind of behavior from her wasn't surprising. I went home that day and thought little of it. Interestingly, on the day Kelvin and I were having our pre-wedding photos taken, Scarlett arrived at the location with our parents. Oh, is this the dress you've chosen for your big day? Scarlett remarked as she watched the setup. Scarlett, we're about to start shooting. Could you please step aside? I requested. That day, I was first in line for a solo photo session in the grand cathedral where our wedding would be held. Scarlett wandered around, seemingly oblivious to the inconvenience she caused. Okay, I'm moving. Don't get all starry-eyed just because you're in a wedding dress, she scoffed. Well, today I am the star. It's my pre-wedding shoot, and we need to keep things moving smoothly, I countered. You're such a people pleaser, trying to be liked because you're so average. That dress doesn't even suit you, Scarlett whispered harshly, making sure only I could hear. I was taken aback. Just as I was about to retort, Scarlett walked away smirking. The photo shoot began for me, but her words lingered, making it difficult for me to smile genuinely. As the session went on, my smile grew more forced. Are you feeling nervous? Inquired Kelvin's mother, Maya, a woman of gentle and kind demeanor whom I had met only a few times. I'm struggling a bit with my smile. Sorry to keep everyone waiting, I admitted. Don't worry, dear, you look stunning in that dress, and we have all the time to capture your beauty. Take as long as you need, she reassured me warmly. Yet, Scarlett continued to disrupt the peace. Are you going to be a burden to your in-laws? It's embarrassing to have such an incompetent sister, she criticized loudly. Scarlett, please stop, I implored. At that moment, my future mother-in-law intervened with a smile. It's nice of you to join us, Scarlett, but please, this is Mara and my son's moment. Step back a little, she gently ushered Scarlett away, allowing us to focus on the shoot. Despite Scarlett's stern looks and stinging remarks, the atmosphere remained tense. Maybe she feels left out, like I've taken you away from her, Kelvin joked. I'm sorry about this, I apologized, feeling the weight of Scarlett's presence. But finally, the preparations were complete. No detail was too small for such a significant life event. As the wedding day neared, Kelvin and I left for the venue from our new home. Upon arrival, we headed to separate dressing rooms. The moment I had always dreamed of was nearly here. I was about to step into my ideal wedding dress and vow eternal love to the person I cherished the most. A childhood fantasy was on the verge of becoming a reality, filled with slight nerves and immense joy. I was just about to open the door to the bridal dressing room, ready to begin a new chapter of my life. Unexpectedly, the door swung open from the inside. Scarlett, why are you coming out of there? To my shock, it was my sister stepping out, her bag snapping shut with a spiteful smirk. Oops, I thought this was the bathroom. Isn't it sad you have to get ready in such a shabby room? But it's probably fitting for you, she said with those stinging words before quickly leaving. Even though she was family, it was unusually early for her to be at the venue. Confused by Scarlett's odd behavior, I entered the bridal dressing room and was greeted by a distressing scene. The room, usually serene and beautifully adorned, was in disarray. There, my wedding dress hung, mercilessly slashed and irreparably damaged. What happened here? I gasped. The dress, unmistakable with its elegant lace detailing, was meant for me. As I stood there, stunned, the makeup and costume staff entered and saw me frozen in front of the tattered gown. Their expressions mirrored my horror. Upon inquiring, they mentioned that Scarlett had told them she was setting up a surprise for me and had requested everyone leave the room. Could Scarlett have done this? Why would she? I struggled to believe it, yet the evidence was overwhelming. Her resentment had been apparent since my engagement, and her spiteful demeanor during the pre-wedding shoot was hard to ignore. With shaky hands, I pulled out my phone and dialed Scarlett's number. What do you need? She answered promptly. Fighting back tears, I confronted her. Scarlett, what were you doing in my dressing room earlier? Didn't I tell you I mistook it for the bathroom? She retorted. That's a lie. You ruined my wedding dress, didn't you? I pushed, emotion heightening my voice. Scarlett laughed dismissively. What's wrong with the dress? It's awful. You suspect me? Maybe this is divine retribution for your bad attitude. It's sick that you enjoy accusing me. Why would you ruin my dress? I demanded, no longer able to contain my anger. What a hassle. Do you have any proof it was me? She said nonchalantly, then added venomously, besides, it's odd that someone as you, who is getting married before me, would wear that rag dress. It suits you better, and even the groom and guests will agree with that. She hung up. The dress before me was beyond salvage. The staff, having left at my sister's behest, supposedly for my benefit, were full of apologies, but their words couldn't mend the gown. I reassured them it was okay, though inside I felt anything but. Amidst this turmoil, a gentle knock came at the door. It was Mara, my future mother-in-law. How is your preparation going? What happened here? She exclaimed upon seeing the chaos inside, what looked more like a scene from a tragedy than a wedding. As she took in the sight of the ruined dress, I began to explain, my voice heavy with disappointment. Mara listened quietly, her face a mixture of sadness and understanding. Fortunately, we had a contingency plan in place, although we never expected to use it. What do you mean by a backup mirror? I asked, curious and hopeful. My mother-in-law, usually a beacon of calm, looked at me with a serious expression. I have an idea, she said confidently. If you're with me, I'll support you through this. Her strategy rekindled my determination to salvage a wedding that I had nearly resigned to cancel. Just watch, Scarlett. I'm going to shine so brightly today, and you'll be astonished, I vowed silently with renewed spirit. The staff rallied around, reinvigorated by my resolve. The day took on a new light, different from the somber mood of the morning. I was ready to face my wedding day head-on. As solemn music filled the magnificent chapel set in the picturesque outdoors, the large doors before me opened. My father stood there, ready to walk me down the aisle. At the altar, Kelvin, my groom, waited with anticipation. As we began our procession, surprised gasps and murmurs rose from the guests. My father, tears in his eyes, walked me down the aisle. Meanwhile, Kelvin, initially unaware of the earlier drama, looked on in amazement. Under my veil, I sneaked a peek at Kelvin's astonished face and scanned the family seats on my side. There, I saw Scarlett, who had clearly expected me to appear in a tattered or hastily prepared dress. Her expression, a mix of shock and disbelief, was priceless. She was so stunned that she stood with her mouth agape, frozen in place. As I reached the end of the aisle and took Kelvin's hand from my father, Scarlett began to fidget nervously with her handkerchief. We exchanged rings, shared our vows, and kissed, then walked down the aisle under a shower of flowers. Passing Scarlett, I noticed the handkerchief she had been twisting finally tore. This ceremony was not about causing distress to my sister but about celebrating our joy. For a moment, I let go of all thoughts of Scarlett and fully embraced the happiness of the moment. After the group photos outside the chapel, we headed to the reception venue. It all went so smoothly, I remarked to Kelvin, relieved and happy. I was really surprised by how beautiful your dress is, he replied, his eyes shining with admiration. As guests moved toward the reception, Scarlett suddenly burst out, "Wait, why are you wearing such a nice dress?" She was pointing at me, her tone a mixture of awe and resentment. "What's with that long veil and even wearing a tiara? Your dress is so shiny. Why are you standing out so confidently when you should be less noticeable than me? You don't have the right to be so presumptuous," she accused. Her frustration was palpable. Despite her outburst, I stood calmly. The dress I wore was indeed stunning, featuring a long veil of fine lace, a glamorous tiara adorned with Swarovski crystals that shimmered beautifully. The hem's rich volume was reminiscent of a royal wedding, and the chest was modestly yet elegantly embellished with more crystals. It doesn't matter whether I'm seen as beautiful or not. Every bride has the right to wear a dress she loves and to have a wonderful day, I responded firmly. You've always looked down on me, Scarlett, but who do you think you are to judge? Everyone deserves to feel special on their wedding day. Scarlett's views were outdated and harsh, believing in a hierarchy based on beauty. But today, surrounded by love and support, I felt above such petty concerns, truly radiant in a moment that belonged solely to me and Kelvin. I'm the one who really takes care of herself and looks beautiful, Scarlett proclaimed as she turned to the guests with a malicious smirk. The room fell silent. Shock was evident on everyone's faces, including our parents. Misinterpreting their silence as agreement, Scarlett's confidence soared. "See? I'm definitely more beautiful. Yet, I don't have a boyfriend, and my less attractive sister gets married first. It's just not fair," she ranted, her glare intensifying as she suddenly lunged toward me. "It's shameful that someone like you is wearing this. Take it off right now and apologize for the dress." "Scarlett, wait. This is an important wedding dress, borrowed from Kelvin's mom. It's the dress she wore at her wedding. Please don't touch it," I cried out, trying to shield the gown. Quickly, the venue staff and Kelvin intervened, holding Scarlett back. Initially, she resisted, but she paused when she heard the dress's history. "Wait, that means it's a second-hand dress? So you were wearing rags after all?" she sneered. "Treating something second-hand so preciously, you really are poor. Plus, being given rags by your mother-in-law? You're already being bullied, aren't you? No dreams or hopes at all." Serves you right, she mocked. I will not let you call this a rag, I responded firmly, just as the guests murmured disapprovingly. At that moment, Kelvin's mother stepped forward with a calm smile and explained, "This dress is a haute couture piece, specially made. It cost $320,000 when it was first created." Scarlett gasped in shock. The price of silk and crystals has gone up since then, so it might be even more valuable now. We've had specialists handle its storage, so it's in perfect condition. Hearing this, Scarlett's face went pale, realizing the value of what she had scorned. "Why would you give such an expensive item to my sister?" she stammered in disbelief. "Because Mara is very kind and will make a wonderful bride," Kelvin's mother explained gently. "It makes me very happy to think that my precious wedding dress is being worn by my dear daughter-in-law. That's not the point. Why was such an amazing dress prepared in the first place?" Scarlett pressed, unable to let go. Kelvin's mother then smiled knowingly at Scarlett. "Do you remember how harshly you glared at Mara during the pre-wedding shoot? Even after I pulled you away, I noticed you kept looking at that dress on your phone. I suspected you were planning something." "I thought you were just a clueless old woman," Scarlett muttered. "Yes, our family and my husband are wealthy, so we're sensitive to malice from others," Kelvin's mother replied smoothly. This comment further unnerved Scarlett. "What? You are wealthy? So Kelvin is rich too?" "He's rich and handsome, so why did he choose my sister?" Scarlett screamed, her confusion and frustration mounting. "Why did I marry Mara?" Kelvin asked, turning shyly to Scarlett, who was now red with anger and curiosity. "I was planning to talk about it in my speech at the reception. When I first went out to eat with Mara, she suggested we split the bill. It was the first time someone had ever suggested that to me, and I was surprised. Plus, she proposed splitting the cost of our new apartment's rent and even the wedding expenses, going Dutch. I don't understand. If Kelvin is rich, he should pay for everything. Is he lacking in generosity? Mara, you should let a man lead and spoil you. That's why you're a flawed woman," Scarlett criticized harshly. "That's exactly it," Kelvin interjected. "Every woman I've dated saw me only as a wallet. Mara is different. She values equality and partnership, and that's why I love her." Kelvin spoke up, his voice steady and sincere. "Mara is truly independent, the first woman I've met like that. I realized I didn't want to be with anyone else but her." He shared his deep admiration and love for me, which only seemed to irritate Scarlett further. She clicked her tongue dismissively. "I can't stand listening to this. It's so boring. I'm not interested in a reception where such a plain sister is the star. Maybe I should just go home." With that, she let out a huff of frustration, her shoulders slumping in defeat. This was typical of Scarlett. She would stir up drama until she either got her way or lost interest. Throughout our lives, I had always endured her antics as her sister, but it was troubling that her behavior hadn't matured with age. "Looks like I have to give her one last lesson," I thought, catching her arm as she began to yawn, signaling her planned departure. "This is a good opportunity to tell you, you'll have to pay for the dress you ruined," I stated firmly. Scarlett gasped and then laughed with a touch of triumph. "Me? Ruin the dress? There's no proof of that. Why don't you save your sleep talking for bedtime?" she scoffed, attempting to shrug off my hand. She seemed pleased with herself, thinking she had successfully spoiled my day. However, I maintained a calm demeanor and nodded. "Unfortunately for you, everything was recorded on the surveillance cameras installed in the bridal dressing room. I'm even considering filing a criminal complaint for property damage. I hate to involve the police in family matters at a wedding, but what, you can do that at weddings?" Scarlett's laughter faded into a look of surprise and panic. I continued to explain, still calm. "It's not a usual option, but I had it installed just for today and it will be removed tomorrow." "How can you just install and remove things on your own? That's ridiculous. This venue is the wedding venue that I run." Scarlett's confusion deepened. You run this venue? I thought you were just a plain office worker. Whether I'm plain or not, I was indeed an office worker until recently. However, my passion for wedding dresses and weddings grew, and I decided to establish my own ideal wedding venue. It wasn't just my savings. Kelvin's mother, who is also an investor, supported me. This allowed me to pursue my dream and manage a wedding venue designed especially for brides. This place you manage? Scarlett was incredulous. Absolutely not. I've never heard such a thing from Mom or Dad. I asked them to keep my entrepreneurship a secret from you. I thought you would say it's presumptuous of me to run a company given my ugly appearance, I said, my voice steady. Scarlett's face, initially filled with anger and confusion, gradually softened as she listened to my story. However, her reaction was predictable as her thoughts turned opportunistic. So you're saying we have lots of wealthy relatives? Ah, then can you introduce me to a wealthy man? Right then, Scarlett's mood quickly shifted to excitement, missing the point entirely. Scarlett, do you think we can continue our relationship as sisters? You tore up a dress I was deeply attached to. I never want to see your face again, I stated, the finality in my voice clear. Why are you saying that? It was just a little prank. I said I'm sorry, didn't I? Scarlett's apology was superficial, lacking sincerity, and she still acted with her usual carelessness. That wasn't just a little prank. I will never forgive you for this, I responded, my anger reaching its limit. It's fortunate I'm wearing this beautiful dress from Kelvin's mother right now. It's a reminder of the support and love I actually have on this special day. The dress Scarlett ruined was not just a garment, it was something I held dear. I will definitely seek compensation, I asserted firmly. You're planning to seek compensation? How much does a wedding dress even cost? I don't have real savings. Scarlett stammered, her voice shaky. If you don't pay, I'll have to involve the police. Did you think you could bully your plain sister all your life and always be forgiven? This is serious, Scarlett. It's time to grow up. Faced with my stern response, Scarlett seemed to deflate. The fight drained out of her. Watching our parents weep tears different from the joyful ones shed earlier at the ceremony, I saw the pain Scarlett's selfishness had caused. Mara is truly splendid. She's exactly the kind of entrepreneur I envisioned, Kelvin's mother shared proudly, turning to Kelvin. I was fortunate to have her wear the dress and to have invested in her business. Mom, that's my line. Please don't steal it, Kelvin joked, easing the tension. Watching them converse so warmly, I couldn't help but smile, relieved. After sending a crestfallen Scarlett home, the reception resumed warmly. Despite the earlier troubles, it became a memorable celebration for me, strengthening my bond with the family I was joining. Following the wedding, our parents, unable to overlook Scarlett's actions any longer, made a tough decision. They expelled her from the family home, apologizing to me for their previous leniency and firmly denouncing her behavior. Without a job change and forced to pay for the damaged dress, Scarlett rented a small apartment close to our parents' house, staying local. She inevitably encountered old acquaintances. News of her outburst at my wedding spread, and she found herself increasingly ostracized, which eventually drove her to relocate out of state. The long commute and the cost of living strained her finances severely. Her once lavish spending on makeup and fashion ceased. Now, she barely managed day-to-day expenses, her appearance at work becoming increasingly unkempt. Her only solace was social media, where her posts, filled with despair, gradually alienated even her online friends. Meanwhile, life for Kelvin and me flourished. Encouraged by investors and inspired by my mother-in-law, I started creating unique wedding dresses at our venue. Though the task was new and challenging, the joy of crafting the perfect dress from exquisite tulle, lace, and silk was irreplaceable. Every time I saw a bride I had dressed, radiating happiness on her special day, I found renewed joy in weddings. This work not only healed the sting of the past but also affirmed my love for what I did. I'm thankful every day for Kelvin's love and my mother-in-law's unwavering support. And oddly enough, I am a bit grateful to Scarlett. Her actions, though harsh, reaffirmed my passion for wedding dresses and helped me realize how much I cherished creating them. The ordeal was painful, but it brought clarity and purpose to my life, turning a challenging moment into the catalyst for a fulfilling career and a happier life.